Welcome to our channel, everyone. My name is Aman. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and on this channel, we speak all things immigration. We like to help people by giving them information on how to save themselves from immigration scam and what are the legal ways to come to Canada. So, on majority of my videos, a lot of people ask this question that they do not have enough CRS scores to be eligible to apply for permanent residency directly, and their age is old enough and with a huge study gap that they cannot come to Canada as a student. So what other options are there? Majority of the provinces want them to have a job offer from an employer who is in Canada, and those kind of jobs are not very easy to get. So they are feeling stuck. Today I want to tell you that there are provinces which give you nomination without having to have a job offer from an employer from that province, and one such province is Saskatchewan. So if you're interested in knowing how you can come to Saskatchewan without having a job offer, stay tuned because I'm going to give you a lot of information in this video. Alright, so let's start with the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. It has four major streams. One of them is international skilled workers. That is where Saskatchewan would attract people from across the globe who have a requirement in that province. So for every year they go through their market analysis and they realize that we need these specific people to come to Saskatchewan, and throughout the year they're going to start giving invitation. If those people are already in Canada, wonderful. If not, they're going to give him a nomination to people who are not in Canada. So this is the most important stream we're going to focus on today. The other three streams are workers with Saskatchewan work experience. We're not going to talk about that because that implies that the person is already here. And entrepreneurs stream, wherein people who want to come to Saskatchewan and invest in companies and be business owners, but that requires a lot of investment. So we're not going to speak about that. The last one is farm owner and operators stream, in which again, if you are in the farming industry and you want to come to Saskatchewan and own a farm, operate a farm, again, it requires a lot of investment. So we're going to speak about the international skilled worker stream, and let's jump on to the requirements of this stream and how somebody will be eligible for this stream. Okay, so on your screen you will be able to see the international skilled worker requirements. The first one is that you have to have a valid express entry profile number and a job seeker code. So express entry is a management system created by Immigration Canada, wherein people who are eligible for mainly three streams would be able to go and create a profile there. One of them is federal skilled trades, the other one is federal skilled worker, the third one is Canadian experience class. So if you're eligible for at least one of those classes, you'll be able to create a express entry profile, and that's also going to give you a job seekers code. The next is you need to make sure that you score a minimum of 60 points on the SINP point assessment grid. SINP is Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program, and later in the video we're going to speak about the points assessment grid, so you'll be able to understand how that works and how you can calculate your own points. The next, you have to have a language test results that meets the federal express entry language requirement. So as I mentioned, that the express entry manages the three different streams: Canadian experience class, federal skilled worker, and federal skilled trades. All three of them have different requirements for IELTS and other language tests. If you speak French, there are different tests you can do. So requirements for all three streams are different, and basically if whichever stream you're eligible for, you need to make sure that you meet the language requirement for that stream. The next, you have to have completed a post-secondary school or training that is comparable to at least 1 year of Canadian education. So if your education is from outside Canada, you need to make sure that you have to do your education credential assessment. There are multiple organizations which would do that for you, and that equivalency needs to be at least a minimum of 1 year of Canadian education, because in Canadian colleges they do 1 year certificates, then they do 2 year diplomas and 3 or 4 year degrees, and then masters and post-graduation PhDs and doctorates. So the minimum education a post-graduation education they accept is a 1 year certificate. The next, you have to have experience in a job that is not on the excluded occupation list. Later in the video, we're going to speak about the excluded occupation list as well. And thankfully, Saskatchewan is very transparent in showing which occupations they are not going to accept into this program. And they're also very transparent on which occupations they eventually end up accepting. So moving on, the next requirement is that you need to make the minimum of work experience, which is for skilled professionals, which is not the tradespeople. So federal skilled workers, you need to have 1 year work experience in the past 10 years to be qualified for Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. For skilled tradesperson, you need to make sure that you have 2 years of work experience as a skill in the skilled trades in the past 5 years. So be very sure about this, because if you see federal skilled worker, your requirement is 1 year in the past 10 years. For skilled trade people, you need minimum 2 years in the past 5 years. So these are the minimum requirements, and later you will realize that just fulfilling the minimum requirements is not going to be enough to have enough scores to clear the cutoff of SINP. Then your work experience must be in a field of your completed post-secondary education or training. So this is also important. If your work experience is way different than what your education is, then you will not be eligible for this program. For example, if you completed a bachelor's in technology and all of a sudden you decided you want to become a cook and you started working in hospitality industry and as a cook or a chef, then your education doesn't meet your work experience, and that will render your application not successful. And then the next one is you may need to show a professional status or proof of eligibility of license for your job. The meaning of this point is that many jobs in Canada require a license to be completed before you can even start that job. So if you are applying under a job which requires a license, you need to prove that you have that license with you before you even start this application. Okay, so the last one is that you need to show settlement funds and a settlement plan if you're coming into Canada under any economic program. So you can easily find the information on the settlement funds on canada.ca. They keep changing that every now and then, so I don't want to provide any numbers on this video. So you can always check the settlement funds, and indeed I'll actually put the link in the description section down below so that you can easily check that. So moving on, let's speak about the point assessment grid, and I'm going to try to make it very easy for you and speak about the different sections which are going to make these points work for you. The first one is education. So you can clearly see that based on the number of years of your education, post-secondary education, and the level of your education, you're going to get higher points. If you have a master's or a doctorate degree, you get 23 points, bachelor's 20 points, trade certification of 2 years, 20 points, 2 years diploma 15, and 1 year certificate 12. So based on this, you will be able to easily understand how many points you're going to get. Then you speak about the work experience. So remember when we spoke about the requirements, there are different categories. Federal skilled trades, you need to have the last 5 years of experience, which is up here, and in federal skilled workers, you need to have experience in the last 10 years. So for example, majority of people who complete their education and ends up in a job market, they continue working. So if in the last 5 years you have worked for all 5 years, you get 10 points, and then they decrease for the number of years as they decrease. And in the last 6 to 10 years prior to the application submission date, so if you have worked in the last 5 years, in the last 6 to 10 years, then you get 5 points. So for example, if you in the last 10 years, if you worked all full 10 years, you get 15 points. If you only worked 8 years, basically 5 years in the first 5 years and then 3 years in the last 5, then you get 13 points. So it's very easy to understand that. And moving on, the language, again, Canada recognizes English and French as two major languages. So if you just have one language that you speak, English or French, and you score the highest point, CLB 8 and higher, you get the maximum 20 points. But if you speak other languages, for example, French is your first language, and then you speak English as your second language, even if you score CLB 4 or 5, you get some scores. But if you are proficient in both languages, you can score a total of 30 points here, which is huge if your requirement to make is 60. So bilingual people obviously have a higher probability of getting selected. So age is also always going to be an important factor. Less than 18 years of age, you're not going to get any score, and you can here clearly see that if you're between 22 and 34 years of age, you get the maximum point. After 34, your point starts to go down again. So people who are under 34 years of age with master's degree, good chance of getting selected under Saskatchewan if their NOC is not in the excluded list. So last is the connection to Saskatchewan labor market and adaptability. This is again a huge point. Basically, if you have some kind of a relation to Saskatchewan, you're obviously going to get major points. Out of which we're not going to be interested in the high skilled employment offers from Saskatchewan, because at the moment this video is about people who do not have that, so you're not going to get this 30 points. But this is the important point, the close family relatives in Saskatchewan. So if you have either your parents, siblings, grandparents, aunt, uncle, niece or nephew, first cousin and step family members or in-laws of the same relationship, you get 20 points. So if your target is 60, having a relative in Saskatchewan which gives you 20 points, it's a huge deal. So this is very important for people who want to come to Canada and they have somebody as a relative in Saskatchewan and they were not aware of this point. The next two are at least 12 months of work or full-time academic year in recognized Saskatchewan post-secondary education. Again, not important for this video because we are speaking about people who are not here or who are applying from outside Canada. Okay, so those are the major points which will give you the points towards your 60 points. And here we are going to take an example in which we are speaking about a person who has a bachelor's degree, 8 years of experience, CLB 8 in the first language, no second language, and 33 years of age, and he or she has an uncle living in Saskatchewan, and they can prove that relationship with birth certificates or marriage certificates, whatever certificates they can use to relate themselves to that person. So let's take the example. If the person has bachelor's degree, you get 20 points because bachelor was 20 and masters we had 23 points. So since it's bachelor's, let's take 20 points. Work experience in last 5 years, all 5 years, you get 10 points. Work experience in the 6 to 10 years, 3 years, you get 3 points. First language, CLB 8, get 20 points. Second language, not applicable, 0 points. Age, 33 years of age, got full 10 points. As I mentioned that anything up to 34 years of age, you get maximum points. In connection to Saskatchewan, he has an uncle who is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, you get 20 points. So you see a total you get is 83 points, and the minimum required is 60 to clear that cutoff. Since you got 83 out of 110, you are eligible to apply for the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program, provided you already have an express entry profile and a job seekers code. Okay, so the next, let's go and check the excluded occupation list from Saskatchewan, and we're going to check these 3 NOC codes: 3113, which is a dentist, 5222, which is film and video camera operator, and 2241, which is electrical and electronics engineering technologists and technicians. So let's see that if any of these are going to be eligible under this program or these occupations are going to be excluded. So on your screen you are going to be able to see the excluded occupation list for SINP, and we're going to check those 3 NOC codes. As you can see that on this page, it's a 4-page document with a lot of NOC codes listed on it. You can see it's optician, licensed practitioner, nurse, massage therapist, and a lot others. So for the example in this video, I'm going to use 3113. As you see, that's a part of this list. Dentists, anybody who's a dentist who want to apply to Saskatchewan's Immigration Nominee Program, they're not going to be able to do so because they are a part of the excluded list. The next one, 5222, which is I believe the film and video camera operators. Again, they would not be able to apply because they are a part of the excluded list. Last one, 2241, those are electrical technologists. 2241 is not a part of this list, so these people are going to be eligible to apply. And the reason I picked up this NOC code 2241 is that they were selected in September 2021 with a SINP score of 71. The minimum requirement is 60. But people who received 71 or above and had NOC codes which are not on the excluded list and they were required in Saskatchewan at the point of time, they were able to receive the nomination. and provided those people had the express entry profile as well. So to have an express entry profile and have an NOC code which is not on the excluded list, plus having over 60 points. 60 again is the baseline to be eligible, but I say that a good number is going to be between 75 and 80 points, which will have give you a higher chance of getting selected under the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. Alright everyone, I hope this gives you an idea about the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program and how you can apply for immigration to Canada without having a job offer. If you got a job offer, obviously that's going to make it very easy for you, and Saskatchewan is going to nominate you like that. But if you do not have a job offer, there are certain provinces which will still be able to invite you. Saskatchewan is one of them. And now if you can easily calculate your scores yourself. But if you still are not sure about your NOC code, again making sure that your education matches with your work experience, that again matches with your NOC code. It all needs to work together. If you're not sure what's the right NOC code for you, you can always reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to work with you for your immigration to Canada. And I'm going to leave the link for our website and my email address down in the video description. We'll be happy to answer your questions as well. If you like the contents of the video, please share it with other people, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, because the more people who watch this video, the more people will get helped with the immigration questions they have. I know there's lots and lots of agents out there, consultants out there, some of them legal, some of them illegal, which provide all kind of information. But we pride ourselves in providing the right information to our clients, and we'll always work not only to bring our clients to Canada, but our goal is to give them a career, a good life in Canada, because we understand that coming to Canada is just one thing, but making a good life here is very difficult. We've been through them, all those struggles ourselves, and we want to impart the knowledge we have gathered throughout the process to everybody who worked with us. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one, because we will bring similar good information for you.